Hello, everybody, and welcome to Warriors Rise. This is Jody LaDolce. I have an amazing guest today, Phil Roberts. He's a friend of mine, my friend Phil, and he is an entrepreneur, creative writer. He loves dogs, gardening, and he loves taking care of alpacas. And he has some friends that he's written about. We're going to talk about that. Phil, before we begin, I wanted to go ahead and mention that children are the target of the enemy because it's this generation coming up behind us that is going to bring the pain to the kingdom of darkness. And the way that they've attacked children is in their education and in their understanding of who they are and their freedoms and their rights under God. And so when you shared your book with me, being my friend and everything, I loved it automatically, but I loved it even more when I started looking into it. And then I've got the book here, so everybody knows, see? And my grandson just absolutely loves it and the way it flows and everything. So let me give you the floor and you can share with us your inspiration and about the alpacas and all of that.
Well, thanks for having me on your program, Jody. My alpacas, Geno and Vinnie, were given to us on rescue about 8 years ago.
Wow.
And when they came to us, I didn't realize the purpose that I was being led into becoming with them. But I do now. And Geno and Vinnie encouraged me to write this book. And they encouraged me as I started to experiment with allowing them to run free on our property.
Wow.
I have friends that raise alpacas and their herds, they don't have free rein. But I now have 4 alpacas and they all run free on our property. And when I first opened the gate and allowed Geno and Vinnie to run free, they were so exuberant and happy. It was like they jumped up in the air, they clicked their heels. They were so thrilled to be running loose.
Right.
That from that day forward, I went, I know I'm writing a story. And so it just started piecing together. It only took me 7-8 years to get this in print. And it wasn't certainly all that time writing it. It was, I had ideas, I put it together, and then I looked for illustrators, and I finally ended up doing what I did with Mindster Media. And that was a great thing. And so we finally got it put together. Geno and Vinnie, Lily and Sophie are the 2 females that I put together with Geno and Vinnie, and all 4 of them, they love to go on my lower patio on the backside of my home, and they all gather on the patio. That's their patio. They gather on the patio, they lay outside the patio doors. It's just really a cool thing that, that I'm blessed with having this experience of sharing, my property and sharing their lives and sharing what they have to give us, which is such a peaceful, exuberance. I mean, they bring such a nice feeling to the property.
Right.
And so that's how this whole thing kind of came together. And I was inspired and encouraged to write the book. The book just came together and it flowed it's sort of like it was meant to happen. And when I tell people, the book's really good, I don't say that because I did it. I say that because however this happened, it was meant to be, and it was meant to happen the way it did. And I was just sort of the person put in charge of doing that. So
it's amazing.
But yeah, it's a cool thing.
What's funny is the closer I get to the Lord, the more I love his creatures. I feed the squirrels and the birds, and I have woodpeckers out there and blue jays and cardinals and all kinds of birds. And I'm in love with the little squirrels, and they're just so cute. And then we have a hedgehog and rabbits and a skunk.
Well, and the whole animal kingdom is, and anybody that gets a book or sees the book, whatever, I have a German Shepherd. Her name is Cassie. And she was placed in the book because it just sort of made sense as Geno and Vinnie came across America to my property. They met Cassie, and in the book, it says Cassie thought they could be bossed,
Right.
and they became friends when the Frisbee was tossed.
Right.
Because Cassie loves to chase a Frisbee. And so it just all kind of fell into place. The only thing that I don't have yet, of which I am searching for, is Henry the Goat.
Oh.
They boarded a train, then they boarded a boat, and
Yeah.
that's where they met, Henry the Goat. And so we're working on that. I want to get Henry because I want to have Henry on the property and have people come and visit, and it's kind of a cool thing that
It's beautiful.
and I've shared this book with many people in my area, and we're now getting things set up so they can come bring their kids and come and visit.
Yeah.
And sit and feed Geno and Vinnie and Lily and Sophie and yeah.
What a beautiful experience for children too, because like I said, the closer I get to God, the more I love all his creatures. So to make a facility where kids can come and actually touch and feed, and it gives you a new respect for life that they won't get, like especially city kids. We were in the city, we were in the cement jungle,
Right,
So,
right.
yeah.
We'll see. And on the last literal page in the book, it has a picture of me with Geno and Vinnie.
Yeah.
And we're pretty much face to face.
Yeah, I can pull that up if you'd like.
Sure, do that.
Okay, let me see. Here we go. Can you see that?
There it is.
Okay.
And with that picture, we see the word "be" on my shirt. Well, as you've noticed, I end all of my communications in "be." And that's become a term that I use, and it's a great endearing term, and it's a word that I've learned to use as something that allows me to clear negative energy from my body. So when I say the word "be," it just allows everything to clear from my body, and allows everything to be perfect right now for that moment as it is.
Yeah.
And that allows you to move forward and engage freshly into whatever it is that we're doing. And that's a huge thing for kids to learn, is how to allow that negative energy to just go away and evaporate and move out of the body. And that doesn't mean that you do nothing. No, it means that you just clear negativity, you move forward, you engage back into what you were doing. And as negativity comes in, because it will, that's just part of what we're involved in.
Right.
And, there's a lot of negativity in the world.
Yeah.
It's going to creep in, but learning how to let it go and release it, at any moment is a great thing to be able to have in your toolbox.
Yeah. It's funny because that's exactly what kids are driven toward: video games and even in my youngest grandson, the frustration they feel when they're playing a game, and it's like, relax, just relax. It's just a game, so teaching them to relax, just to settle in, to kind of wash away the bad thoughts and the bad, we're taught that in the word, casting down imaginations. And, it's a good thing for kids to learn to just relax. So there's so much in here that's so exciting. Now, it says meet Flip. Flip is you?
That is me.
Yeah. So
that is as I was growing up as a lad, my real name is Philip.
Okay.
And as you say Philip really fast, it turns into Flip. Took me a long time to figure that out.
Right.
But then I took it on as a project, and I became a gymnast. And I was a gymnast for many years. And so I used the term flip in general, ways. And I did a lot of flipping. And that was a cool thing. And so, yeah, when they asked me, sort of like, what name do you want on the book, or what's your pen name, or whatever, I said, it's Flip. And they said, just Flip? I said, yeah, Flip. And they went, okay.
Works.
And now it's stuck.
Yeah. And you know what? Kids can remember the name Flip better than Philip, better than, it's good. Yeah.
Right, right. It's just a simple thing and it's a little different. And it's funny because people that know me from my youth, um, they go, "Oh, yeah, Flip."
I
So
love
yeah,
that. Yeah,
it's funny
that's a
and
lot of fun.
yeah, it's worked out very well.
Right.
Um, and so the website
Mhm.
being freedombookseries.com,
Mhm.
that is the site that is up live now. We
Right.
are in the process of putting together genoandvinnie.com,
Okay.
Geno and Vinnie, VINNIE.com.
Mhm.
And that website is going to be a little different than what we have on this website. And eventually it's going to have different things that we're going to offer, as part of the B movement,
Mhm.
and just instilling Geno and Vinnie into people's lives and allowing them to be a part of this whole thing of being,
Right.
uh, and how we can all just relax in and be.
Right. And a
Uh,
lot of people are going to need that, life, like you said, life can be troublesome, but learning to find peace in the storms is very important. So,
Absolutely.
and the freedom series, what gave you that word? Is it freedom from the stress, freedom as in God-given rights? What led to the idea of freedom? Just them clicking
Well,
into
and I'll explain that is,
Mhm.
as I experimented with Geno and Vinnie being able to run free,
Right.
okay, then it became that, excuse me on that,
No
um,
problem.
then it became that, um, freedom in today's world, if you look around, that word is being used. And, apparently I started something because when I started doing this a number of years ago and I came up with it's going to be the Freedom Series,
Right.
um, look at how often that word is used now.
Yeah.
And, apparently, and I don't know this, but I see some of it. Apparently,
Mhm.
there's, people that don't really respect that we should have freedom.
Yeah.
Um, I don't understand that personally.
Right.
And it's my plight to teach kids that freedom is in the heart.
Yeah.
That's where we be,
Right.
is in the heart. That's who we are. And
Right.
that's who we get to be when we understand that that's okay to be us.
Right.
And be yourself, be okay, be real.
Right.
Um, and so, all of those things um, led me to the Freedom Series, and it has just really now fit into what's going on with all this talk about freedom and da da da,
Right.
and so the next book in the series
Mhm.
is Geno and Vinnie Explore 50 States.
Wow.
So just as an example,
Mhm.
they go from Iowa to Kansas to see a great wizard,
Mm.
and then to a state that has a big lizard. Arizona, New Mexico, they went there by chance, and then to a state that does the square dance.
Ah,
So it's on and on. We're going to be traveling across the country
right.
and bringing up things that each state in some ways has to offer, or that other, certain states have to offer.
Mhm.
And then we can have a conversation with kids about what state do they like? What do they like about this state?
Mhm.
And so it leads into conversations that we can have with children about all the different states and the cool things. Georgia for peaches and Florida for beaches.
Yeah.
Um, and
Great.
so, yeah, it's an interesting thing. And,
I
I
think,
just, I want to be able to bring that out to kids.
yeah, I think that's important because one of the reasons we're kind of in a lot of bit of the mess that we see today is that people haven't explored our country. They don't have a love for it and understand the beauty of it. and there's so much to see. As a Marine, I got to go a few places, and when we were kids, we lived in Florida. When I was newly out of the Marine Corps, I lived in Texas, which I just love Texas, California, and there's so much, and just to bring it to them in a fun story book that rhymes, it's fun to read, and
Yeah.
it's going to catch their attention, and then to give them, like we were saying before, a love for these animals, that are just beautiful creations of the Most High God. I think it's amazing, and I'm really proud of you. So
Well,
yeah.
and alpacas, I didn't really know much about them when
Yeah.
they were given to me.
Mhm.
Alpacas live to anywhere from 20 to 30 years. Now, Geno and Vinnie are about midlife right now, and
Right.
that's where we brought in Lily and Sophie because they're much younger.
Right.
Um, I want to have more,
Yeah.
and we had a bed and breakfast at the time when we first got Geno and Vinnie.
Right.
And they created such a cool ambiance to the property that people would come and they'd look and they go, "Are they running loose?" And we're like, "Yeah."
Oh,
And the cool thing about Geno and Vinnie and many like is they're not Geno and Vinnie. If you go to pet them,
right.
they don't, they're not. They back up. Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Not that they're afraid of you or anything else. They just aren't, so much into that. And
Yeah.
that's okay because that means they're not going to sneak up on you or no.
Right.
And yeah, here's some pictures
Yeah.
and there's a picture in the lower that of Geno with his tuft of hair. I call it his punk hair.
Yeah.
Um, and
That is so
they are
cute.
not what one might consider thoroughbreds or show animals per
Yeah.
se.
There's
They're
Cassie.
just they're your down to earth alpaca.
Yeah.
And
They're adorable.
but yeah, and there's Cassie,
Yeah. Right
the
there. Yeah.
German Shepherd.
Yeah. Playing
And
with
what
the.
we did is we put food in Cassie's frisbee.
Oh.
And so Cassie's over there going, "What are you doing with my frisbee?"
Oh,
So
beautiful
yeah,
dog. Beautiful. Now,
yeah,
are you going to, I know it's a series, correct? So you said there's a next
correct.
book. Are you going to bring the girls into the next book, or are they going to have a
No, the
series of
next
their
book,
own?
like I say, the next book is Geno and Vinnie Explore 50 States.
Right.
The book after that is going to be Geno and Vinnie Return to Peru.
Oh,
Okay. So
okay.
now instead of exploring states, now we're exploring countries
Sweet.
because now we're going to go through Mexico and all the down to Peru.
Wow.
And so this is going to be another history lesson of not states, but now countries.
Right.
Um, and now eventually, Lily and Sophie are going to work into either this book series or we are going to do a book series about the land of B.
Ah, interesting.
Okay. And so lots of ideas out there on what what we can do with this and how we can make alpacas even more popular than they're becoming.
Right.
How we can maybe get Geno and Vinny to be spokespersons for alpacas.
Right.
Um, we want to do animation.
Huh.
We want to put them into cartoon clips,
Right.
having Geno and Vinny talking about all really good, positive things for kids.
Good. Yeah.
And once we animate them, it's going to be a visual for kids to be able to go and see yeah.
It's going to be adorable. I'd love to see a cartoon like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just part of the mission of how can we bring good, positive things to kids and show them, that there's really good stuff to think of and focus on
Right.
other than some of the other stuff.
Right.
It might be a
Exactly.
little old school, as they might say, and I think there's much more to, than just sitting and being on their phones and da da da.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Yeah, and again, giving them something else to focus on, something that's a creation, something beautiful as the alpacas,
right,
and the
right.
other animals that you're going to bring in.
Yep,
So
yep.
I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to that. And just the lessons about our own land. We sing this land is your land, it's my land, and nobody knows anything about it. We've lost that sense of patriotism, and we've lost
yep.
the understanding of what freedom is. That I can get in my car and I can go and to Mount Rushmore and look at some of the most amazing presidents, minus Kennedy and Trump, you know, and so one day when they're up there, I'm going, but I can do that because we're free. But there, we want children to understand freedom, because sometimes you have to fight for it. Something.
Well, and what's really amazing to me is we have all these people wanting to come into this country.
Right.
They're coming in droves,
Mhm.
and yet somehow people are forgetting why they're coming.
Right.
They're coming because they want a piece of freedom.
Right. Right.
And yet there's people in this country that are forgetting what that's even meaning.
Yeah.
And so that's part of the purpose of these books and the book series, is to, sort of talk about it, or at least show and envision the objectivity of freedom,
Right.
and how important it is that we all get to have that freedom
Yeah.
within. And once we get it here, nobody can take it away.
That's right. Yeah.
And so, that's a good thing.
That's a beautiful thing. So I think this is amazing what you're doing. And I saw that you were, I think one of the, I don't know if you're a local station, Channel 2, put something up about you. Market Watch has put something, and you just told me Amazon had some good numbers, which means people are hungry for good stuff for their kids.
Right, right.
Yeah,
And I'm a bit of a needle in a haystack right now,
right. Yeah,
but that doesn't concern me,
right.
because I'm going to get that break.
Mhm.
At some point. Somebody's going to notice that can put this into a bigger market,
Mhm.
and that can take it to more people. And it's just, and I don't do this because it's not a monetary thing.
Right.
Now, granted, the more money this makes, the more I can do with it.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's really my passion to be able to share this with kids, bring good things, and as good things happen, good things happen.
Right. Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to have you back on to talk about the next book. And when you open up to have people come see it, I'd love you to take me on your phone and walk us through, so we can look at what
Absolutely.
you're looking at,
And yeah, and that'll be a blast. And eventually I want to be able to I'm going to do some video clips
Right.
of me out engaging with the alpacas and showing them, how they run free, and it's really I'll kind of end this with something interesting. Is so in the evening they go back in their pen, and that's for their safety.
Right.
Okay. Night brings things that roam around, and I don't need, we do have coyotes around and whatnot. Right. So I put them in their pen in the evening for their safety. But when I go out in the evening between 9 and 10 o'clock, it's dark out.
Right.
And I bring Cassie with me.
Right.
And Cassie walks with me. And the alpacas, when they see us coming, they head right for the gate.
They know.
They are very intelligent animals.
Wow.
And so we go out, they see us, they start, and I tell them, I say, go in your house. And they just walk over to the gate, and they go in, and I close the gate, and everything's cool for the night. Okay. And I come out in the morning, and when I feed them, I open the gate, and they, have their snack, and then they come out to graze. And then
So
they go on the back patio to lay down and it's a blast.
I love it. I got to tell you, I hope you have merchandise because I love that shirt. I'd love one of those shirts.
Yeah, with that, and that's what we're going to be doing
Yeah.
is we've got a couple of cool logos now.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of really neat ideas. I want to, that we're going to do some things that are maybe a little different, maybe not, but they're going to be cool.
Yeah.
And we just want to be able to share the idea and the thoughts and the blessings that Geno and Vinnie have brought to me and allow it to go everywhere else.
I love it.
So-
I love it. Well, when you get them up, I'm getting a t-shirt for me and my grandson.
Cool.
So,
Cool.
well, I want to thank you for coming on. No, I have a page on my website for you because you are my friend and I just love this series. So I want
Yep.
people to know they can go there and it will link to you and when you get genoandvinnie.com up, we'll also link that into my website so people can come right directly to you. So
That would be awesome.
yeah, so we're gonna make sure that Warriors Rise keeps you up there, and I would like to invite you back on as things keep progressing. And I just love you, and I love what you're doing, and God bless you. This is so awesome.
Well, thank you, Jody,
Yeah.
and love from us to you.
Yes. So we'll see you soon, and
All right.
definitely I want to come see those alpacas one day. All right.
That'll be cool.
That'll be fun.
Okay.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Mhm.
Take care.